I just went up the stairs and now I'm suddenly out of breath. Ignore me. Alright, once again, my name is Blue Eyed Bruiser. I'm your voice in the sky that may or may not be annoying at times, but I'm here either way. And I'm going to go ahead and start with Great Lakes roster for the second game. Starting off once again, we've got number 03, Flutterbat, number 100, Rainstorm, number 11, Chef Boyardee, number 1111, Star, number 15, Crybaby, number 16, Savage Patch Kid, number 1888, Jax the Ripper, number 262, Runner Down, number 3, Twiggy Zigzag, number 33, Puddin', number 369, Irish, number 50, Daisy Mayhem, and number 762, Betty Rampage. And Great Lakes Roller Derby B is coached by 8K 40 ounce, Papa Pit Stop, Life Coach Dan, and Coach Greatness. And then Kalamazoo B team, their roster is number 11, Bobbles, number 013, Lamb Chop, number 2, One Hit Wanda, number 22, Princess Harming, number 410, Basher, number 5, Pocket, number 57, Caddy Wampus, number 67, Ratchet, number 75, Semper Temper, number 81, Kilobell Lecter, number 815, Stingray, number 915, Weird Gal Skater Chick, and number 94, Bio. And Kalamazoo is coached by Coach Waldo, Coach Snackajawea, Coach Turkey, and Coach Crash. Give it up for both of our teams for the second game this evening. Perfect, and I'm going to run through our refs and officials one more time. Once again, our refs are Cutter, Phil, Bon Appetit, Han Slow-Mo, Drift, Admiral Mayhem, and Richie Cranio. And our NSOs for this game are Nomi, Wifey, TT, Headhunter, Forrest Jump, Princess Leia, Jane Deere, Wits and Giggles, and Evil. And once again, our medics are She-Rex and Destruction. Once again, Roller Derby cannot happen without all of these amazing people here who are volunteering their time and their knowledge to us today. We are super grateful to have them here. And once again, Derby would not be able to happen without them.
Oh no, I was just taking a picture of this little bunny. Dad said this is our son.
When a rainy day is. Because I'm hungry at like 10 p.m.
Yeah, I was going to say 10 p.m.
All right, there's our 5 seconds call, ready to get started with our Derby action. On the jam line for the first jam of the evening is number 11, Bobbles for Kalamazoo, alongside number 3, Twiggy Zigzag for Great Lakes. Lead jammer status going to Bobbles of Kalamazoo. Bobbles approaching the back of the pack. There's a ducker on the outside, going to tap the hips and call off the jam. Looks like going to be awarded 3 points for Kalamazoo. No points going to be given to Twiggy. First points on the board for Kalamazoo. Score is 3-0. And we've already got our first official timeout of the game.
This is the second game following up, and it just started. Yeah, no problem.
The blackboard all the way around to the corner. I could run down there.
No, not the I was just I think
All right, we're getting ready to go into Jam 2 now. Jamming for Great Lakes is Puddin against One Hit Wanda for Kalamazoo, who does step out of bounds, forced to recycle back by Rainstorm. As Puddin looking for some space, sees a hole in lane 2. Lead jammer status going to Puddin of Great Lakes. One Hit Wanda picking up a penalty. So this will be a power jam for Puddin and for Great Lakes. Puddin looking to that outside line, uses that toe step to stay in bounds. 4 points on the board for Great Lakes. Our first lead change of the game thus far. Puddin looking to that outside one more time, held back by Weirgau's fader tip, but Puddin through for an additional 4 points for Great Lakes. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam with 8 points on the board. Score is now 8-3 in favor of Great Lakes. And starting for this power start for Great Lakes is number 1111 Star. Jam is live. Star looking to get past Hilda Lecter, does so with some weaving, but has to get past Bio and is able to do so. Lead jammer status going to Great Lakes as One Hit Wanda has come out of the penalty box. So Star's power jam is over, but lead was already earned and is ready to score some points for Great Lakes. Makes some good contact with Bio there. Able to stay in bounds as One Hit Wanda completing the initial pass for Kalamazoo, as Kalamazoo's pivot does take a seat in the penalty box. So this is a 4-3 pack advantage for Great Lakes. Star goes right for the seams there, going to force the call off. 4 additional points on the board for Great Lakes for a total of 8 points. That jam, bringing the score to 16. It looks like there may be some discussion over how many points Wanda had picked up. Looks like 2 points going to be awarded to Wanda, matching the number. Score is now 16-5 in favor of Great Lakes. And jamming now, we've got Twiggy Zigzag and Pocket. Pocket with a jump on that outside, breaking through for lead jammer for Kalamazoo. As Twiggy Zigzag takes a knock from Basher and then from Patty Wampus. Great work there as Pocket attempting to do an apex jump, but does get knocked out, forced to recycle back. Has to get past that last blocker and is able to do so. 4 points on the board for Kalamazoo as Basher bridging Twiggy back to the jam line and even further. Pocket in the pack, just has to get past number 369 Irish and does so. And another 4 points on the board as the Star has been passed from Twiggy Zigzag to number 16 Savage Patch Kid. Pocket does step out of bounds, forced to recycle, picks up some speed and is able to break through the path once more. Great work by Kalamazoo's defense, really locking down Savage Patch Kid, who is able to stay in bounds, now completing the initial pass for Great Lakes. As Pocket is coming in for a 4th scoring pass for Kalamazoo. sees a gap on that inside, does a spin, gonna go ahead and call off the jam. Largest jam of the game so far, 16 points on the board for Pocket and for Kalamazoo. Another lead change. Take a drink of your beverage of choice. Score is now 21-16 in favor of Kalamazoo. And jamming now, we've got number 11 and 33, which is Bobbles and Puddin'. Currently an empty penalty box for both teams, so a full 4 wall. Bobbles looking for that outside, but Rainstorm locking it down, forcing the bridge back. As Puddin' trying to push up that inside line, has to get past Bio, gets knocked out of bounds. Still has to fight as Kalamazoo reforms at the front of the pack. Bobbles once again being recycled to the back by Rainstorm, giving Puddin' enough time to pick up lead jammer status for Great Lakes. As Bobbles sees a gap on that inside, has to get past Flutterbat and Rainstorm. Great Lakes recycling in front of Bobbles in a quick manner, which gives Puddin' a chance to break through for an additional 4 points. As Bobbles really trying to fight through that wall. And a star has been passed. Our new jammer for Kalamazoo is number 94, Bio. As Puddin' gets through on that outside line, being told to call off the jam. Great awareness there by Puddin' to listen to her coaches after picking up a total of 8 points for Great Lakes. Once again, another lead change. Take a drink of your beverage. I feel like we're going to have those in hand this entire game. Every time you take a lead change, it's in the rules, you have to take a drink. Okay, whether it's water, whether it's juice, anything. You take a drink. We've had a change. It's 24-21 in favor of Great Lakes. 3 points is absolutely nothing. So definitely keep them in the standby. You'll need them. And this next jam, whenever it does begin after this official timeout, will be One Hit Wanda versus Star.
That's my picture.
Alrighty, that official timeout has concluded, so we're getting ready to go back into that derby action. So as I mentioned, it is Star and One Hit Wanda jamming for their respective teams. Star finding an opening on that outside line, picking up lead jammer status for Great Lakes for the second jam in a row, as One Hit Wanda being held in the back by a strong Great Lakes wall after a recycle from Rainstorm. One Hit Wanda sees a gap on that inside line, able to break through on that initial pass for Kalamazoo, as Star takes a tumble to that infield after a hit from Basher. One Hit Wanda trying to get a point there. Let's see if it was awarded. Looks like 3 going to be given to Great Lakes. No points going to be awarded to Wanda there. So in total, Star picked up 3 points for Great Lakes, extending their lead to 27-21. And we've got just shy of 23 minutes left in the first half. On the jam line now is number 3, which is Twiggy Zigzag, alongside number 5, which is Pocket. Both jammers looking for that outside line, but both walls keeping it pretty covered. Twiggy switching to the inside with a spin, stays in bounds. crashes into Bio, blocking that inside line, forcing the recycle to just past the pivot line. As Pocket has to get past Flutterbat at the front of the pack, is able to do so. Great toe step work, earning the Pocket lead at Jammer status for Kalamazoo. But we have had a star pass from number 3 to number 03, Flutterbat. Pocket with a ducker on that outside, picking up 1 and a hip spin. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam with 3 points in the pocket and on the board, no pun intended. Score is now 27 to 24 with 21 and a half-ish minutes left in the game, in the first half. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. On the jam line now, we've got number 11, Bobbles, and number 100, Rainstorm. Jamming for the first time this game, but we did see her jam a couple times in the previous game. Bobbles looking to do a little bit of defensive jamming there, but Rainstorm able to speed up lane 2, picking up lead jammer status for Great Lakes. As Bobbles finds space on that outside line, completing the initial pass for Kalamazoo. Rainstorm speeding into that pack as Kalamazoo's wall speeding up. A big hit from Basher there, but beautiful core strength from Rainstorm, keeping her in bounds. Bobbles attempting to take that inside line, but knocked out of bounds by number 15, Crybaby, and bridged back into turn 3. Bobbles looking for that outside, but blocked there by Puddin'. Looks like it's a bit of a penalty fest at the moment, as Rainstorm able to take advantage of the chaos, picking up an additional 4 points, as Bobbles still working on that initial pass. Rainstorm attempting to do an apex jump there, but is knocked down. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam from the floor after picking up no additional points. 2 points gonna be awarded to Bobbles there. So in total, 2 points for Kalamazoo, 8 points for Great Lakes, making the score now Great Lakes 35 to 26, Kalamazoo. It's a 9-point game, which is not very much in terms of derby, so. On the jam line now, we've got One Hit Wanda and Twiggy Zigzag. Both jammers pushing hard against those walls. One Hit Wanda really pushing forward. Twiggy Zigzag looking for some space. Sees an opening on that inside line. Lead jammer status going to Great Lakes. As One Hit Wanda still fighting to get through on that initial pass. Fighting against a strong wall of Flutterbat, Star, and number 11, which is Chef Boyardoon. Twiggy Zigzag getting knocked to the infield and bridged back by Killabell Lecter. One Hit Wanda looking for some assistance as well. Still working on that initial pass. One Hit Wanda knocked to the infield by Chef Boyardoon. Looks like we attempted to pass the Star, but was not completed. But Twiggy Zigzag able to break through for 4. One Hit Wanda with the Star back in her hand and on her helmet. Now through on the initial pass as Twiggy Zigzag looking for some space. Makes contact with Basher on the inside. Gonna force the call off after picking up 3 points for Great Lakes for a total of 7. Extending their lead to 42 Great Lakes to 26 Kalamazoo. On the jam line now, we've got Pocket for Kalamazoo against Savage Patch Kid for Great Lakes. Looks like Great Lakes is going to be calling an official review. So now is the perfect time to once again recommend that you head over to our nice little table over there with the beige little table cover. That is the table for fundraising for Coach Sacagawea that you see in the center right now. Once again, she is here for Indigenous Rising Roller Derby. She speaks for that borderless team of Indigenous people who will be going to the equivalent of the Olympics for roller derby in July. Over her birthday, might I add. So that's a pretty cool birthday gift. And if you head over to their table, they've got all sorts of stuff over there. They've got some small and large heat packs. They've got some jewelry. They have some stickers. And all of the money that they get from their table goes straight to travel costs for going to Austria in the early July. And it's a really important cause, so if you want to go over there and support them, I'm sure they would really, really, really appreciate it.
I guess it's not on the track.
Alrighty, that official review has completed. And doesn't look like there's any changes on the track, and their blocking circle is gone. So Great Lakes has lost their official review for the first half. And it looks like Savage Patch Kid, the jammer for Great Lakes, will be going to the penalty box for a back block. This will be a power jam for Pocket, who is our current highest scoring jammer for Kalamazoo. And now she's the only person scoring on the track, and their team's down. So this could be a change of events for Kalamazoo here. Pocket over to the outside line, but Rainstorm takes a bit of a spill there, which lets Pocket hop right back in for 3 points. No earned pass on the skater that they didn't pass legally since they stepped out of bounds. No points going to be awarded for Rainstorm there on that pass. Pocket getting knocked out of bounds by number 369 Irish. As Savage Patch Kid now out of the box and ready to work on that initial pass. Pocket now completing another scoring pass, an additional 4 points on the board. Savage Patch Kid still looking to get their initial. Great Lakes blocker heading to the box. A Savage Patch Kid, just steps out of bounds there after a hit from Basher. Pocket just has to get past Rainstorm at the front of the pack, who is very strong 1v1, but is able to get through. An additional 4 points on the board for Pocket. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam, really closing that gap between these two teams. 12 more points on the board, making our score now 42 Great Lakes to 38 Kalamazoo. It's only a 4-point game. And on the jam line now, we've got Puddin' and Bobbles for their respective teams. Hey, we're going to the jam 11, and it's number 11 jamming. Look at that. Maybe luck is on your side. Bob is looking for that outside line. Has to get past Piggy Zigzag and Daisy Mayhem. Does a spin. Luck is on Bobble's side. Jam matching number earns them lead jammer status for Kalamazoo. Beautiful blocking there by Bio. Sends Pudding to the infield and recycled back to the midway point between the jam and pivot line. As Bobbles shoots up the middle, able to pick up 4 points, which is now tying our game between these two teams. So get your drinks ready. Puddin' completing that initial pass. As Bobbles shoots up that outside line, officially marking another lead change. Take a drink, everyone. Score is now 46 Kalamazoo to 42 Great Lakes. 8 points in total picked up by Bobbles on that jam. And on the jam line now, we've got one hit Wanda against Star. Great Lakes does have one blocker in the box at this moment, but they are standing, which means they have less than 10 seconds. One hit Wanda fighting against Flutterbat at the front of the pack. As Star looks to that outside line, but is locked down by Basher, giving Kalamazoo a chance to reform in front of her. As one hit Wanda also still working on that initial pass. Flutterbat doing some great 1v1 blocking at the back of the pack. Star absorbing the impact from a hit from Patty Wampus, picking up lead jammer status for Great Lakes. And we have had a star pass from one-hit Wanda to Besher. As Star looking for some space to pick up any points. Gonna go ahead and call it off by picking up 2 points for Great Lakes. Another lead change. You know what that means. Just kidding. I don't know math. Ignore me. Score is 44-46. I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. But it's a 2-point game, so that lead change is teetering right now. On the jam line now, we've got Rainstorm and Pocket. Rainstorm looking to that outside, wide open. Beautiful work there by Rainstorm, picking up lead as Pocket still fighting that initial pass. Looking for some help, has passed the star now to number 81, Philibel Lecter. But Rainstorm approaching the back of the pack, ready to score some points with a nice duck. Does go out of bounds, but pops back in as Philibel Lecter completing the initial pass for Kalamazoo. Rainstorm nudged to the outside, forced to recycle by Pocket. Jam is called off. Looks like no points going to be given to Philibel Lecter there. But it looks like 3 points going to be given to Rainstorm, which now it's a lead change. My bad. Now take a drink of your beverage. Score is 47-46. It's a 1-point game with just shy of 13 minutes left in the first half. And jamming now is 11, which is Bottles against number 3, Twiggy Zigzag, with an empty penalty box. Basher coming up to play some offense, but Flutterbat already there. Flutterbat will be taking a trip to the box for that hit there as Bobbles knocked out by Crybaby. Patty Wampus with a beautiful hit to that inside line, sending Twiggy Zigzag to the infield as Bobbles knocked down, forced to restart as they almost clear the pack, giving Twiggy enough time to break through for lead jammer status. The third lead jammer in a row for Great Lakes, and Bobbles picking up a forearm penalty, so this will be a power jam for Great Lakes. Twiggy sees an opening on the inside, but does step out of bounds. But it looks like Twiggy will be picking up a track cut penalty. So this will be a full 2-minute jam. We've got about a minute left. Since our lead jammer did end up taking a trip to the penalty box, there is no lead, so no one can end this jam prematurely. So this will be that full 2-minute jam. Bobbles out of the box, still working on that initial pass. Bobbles looking for some assistance on that inside line. Sees a little bit of space. Bobbles fighting against Flutterbat. As Twiggy Zigzag is released from the penalty box, does a nice side surf there, able to get through for 4 points, as Bobbles doing a similar maneuver, also able to get through, now completing their first scoring pass for 4 points, as Twiggy Zigzag looking for some offensive help from Flutterbat, gets knocked out of bounds by number 75. Who will now also be taking a trip to the penalty box for a forearm, as that 2-minute jam completes itself after a full 2 minutes of jam action. 3 more points put on the board by Great Lakes. Looks like Kalamazoo is calling a team timeout. In total, it looks like 7 points put on the board by Great Lakes and 4 points put on the board by Kalamazoo. Our score is now 54 Great Lakes to 50 Kalamazoo. We're getting back to the derby action. The 1 minute team timeout has concluded. So once again, we've got about 10.5 minutes left in the first half. And score is 54-50 in favor of Great Lakes. A mere 4-point game. And jamming now for the first time for Kalamazoo off the line is number 410 Basher, alongside no stranger, number 1111 Star. He takes a bit of a tumble, which allows Basher enough time to pick up lead jammer status for Kalamazoo. As Star is being forced to recycle all the way back into turn 1. Basher back in the pack, sees an opening on that inside line, 3 for 4, but Star also passing through that same hole on the inside, completing the initial pass. Basher's going to go ahead and call off the jam after picking up no additional points. We have a tie game, everybody, 54-54. And going into this tied jam, we've got number 5, Pockets, and number 33, Puddin. Puddin shooting at that outside line. Pocket looking for that middle with a juke to the outside, but nudged out by Flutterbat. So Pocket using that speed, challenging those links, able to break through for lead jammer status. As Puddin looking to that inside line, some great offense opening it up for them. Initial pass completed about a little more than half a track behind Pocket, who gets squeezed in between 2 Great Lakes blockers. Gonna go ahead and force a call off there. Looks like no points going to be awarded to Great Lakes, but there's some discussion about how many for Kalamazoo. Looks like all 4 points going to be awarded to Pocket. So now another lead change, 58-54. And on the jam line now we've got Bobbles and Savage Patch Kid jamming. And an empty penalty box. Savage Patch Kid looking to that outside, but nudged out and bridged back. Lamb Chop leading that bridge back as Rainstorm looking to open up that inside line, but Savage Patch Kid able to juke their way through as Basher trying to knock out of bounds. Savage Patch Kid able to stay in, allowing them to pick up lead jammer status for Great Lakes, but Bobbles also not far behind. Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. There was a bit of a miscommunication there. It looks like it was Bobbles called lead jammer. So Bobbles called off the jam before anybody could be awarded any points. The score is still 58-54 with just over 7 minutes left in the first half. Going into jam 18, we've got One Hit Wanda and Star. One Hit Wanda pushing up that middle of the pack, kind of spreading things out a little bit as Vio lands a hit on Star. Princess Harming racing up, landing a nice hit, but Star able to keep her balance, staying in bounds, completing the initial pass. As One Hit Wanda earns lead jammer status and is approaching the pack, ready to score some points. Takes a nice hit from Flutterbat and is going to go ahead and call off the jam. Looks like we're going to have an official timeout called. And it looks like we are awaiting the jam ref's response to see if Wanda was awarded any points. Going into this next jam, we've got Pocket and Puddin. It's a battle of the P's in the Battle of the B's game. So, it's kind of like alliteration, but not quite. burp courtesy of Sacagawea.
We have the professional taping.
It is. It is. But in this movie, it's not. It is really hard to see that. I would like half my life.
I could have gotten it.
Yeah, he went past me.
It was cool. I guess I got
That is awesome. Now you're doing more.
I don't know if I can say what I did. No, it's crazy. We didn't know. Teddy on the roller chair, me and Teddy were running backwards while Ash was running down the hallway.
And dodge.
Yeah, I was running backwards and down into the with Teddy with the Ash was running fast. We did that the first time, and I was like, I feel like we did it faster. And then we did it faster, and then I was like, I think I can do it faster.
It looks like due to this official timeout, we have added an additional 2 points to Kalamazoo for that last pass for one-hit Wanda. So the score is now 60 Kalamazoo to 54 Great Lakes.
I probably wouldn't do it until
It was a really fast. No.
They added 2 points, so 60 to 54.
Oh, thank you.
The Kalamazoo.
That was not paying attention.
We were chit-chatting right here.
Okay. I also just like, once you're up here with me for a little next time, my voice just kind of be drowned out.
No, you're
No, I listen to
helping
you
a
all.
lot.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand everything on roller derby, but you're able, like, I know what to focus on.
Okay.
I think I'm kind of getting it.
Okay, good.
I don't know if I am.
I'm starting to understand how points are scored.
Yeah, so it's hips. So if your hips pass someone else's hips, that's
And this means
it
the
doesn't
lead
matter if
jumper.
your foot passes, if your head passes, if your shoulder passes, that
You
doesn't
get
count.
4 if you pass out.
If you pass all 4, yes, legally. So if someone hits you out and you go out with them, and like both of you go out and you reach here, technically you were both out of bounds, so therefore you didn't.
That's half.
Yeah, so that's why she only got 3 points that pass.
Do you know if this is KRD and PRD all gender, or just
This is just regular doable.
so we could technically get rid of it?
Yeah.
We just have to decide. What do we change it?
We just delete
All right, back to the derby action. Once again, it is Pocket versus Puddin. Pocket working against a strong 2-wall. Pocket just having to get past Rainstorm and does. Lead Jimmer status gonna go to Pocket of Kalamazoo. Basher locking down Puddin at the front of the pack alongside number 75, Semper Temper. Great work there by Puddin, able to break through, completing the initial pass for Great Lakes as Pocket slowly rolling back with Rainstorm. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam. Pocket's going to go ahead and call off the jam, but not before 2 points be picked up by Rainstorm. Now adjusting the scores, 56 Great Lakes to 60 Kalamazoo. On the gym line now, we've got Bobbles and Twiggy Zigzag. Bobbles getting knocked out by Savage Patch Kid, being bridged way back. Then Twiggy Zigzag gonna have lead jammer status for Great Lakes, breaking the streak. Kalamazoo had 5 lead jams in a row, but Twiggy Zigzag said no more of that. Bobbles has to get past those last 2 Great Lakes blockers. Twiggy Zigzag getting caught up by Cattywampus Bio and Princess Charming. Flutterbat and Savage Patch Kid trying to hold down the front of the pack, but Bobbles able to get through, completing that initial pass as Twiggy Zigzag has to get past Bio, but is knocked to the outside, forced to call off the jam. 3 points going to be awarded to Great Lakes. Now adjusting the score, it's 59-60, a 1-point game with 4.5 minutes left to go in the first half. All right, on the jam line now, we've got One Hit Wanda and Star jamming for their respective teams. And it looks like a full pack for both teams. Star, look at that outside line, able to get through for a lead as One Hit Wanda also charging up that outside line, completing that initial pass. That's 2 jams in a row now for Great Lakes. They're on a bit of a moving streak. Star goes through, picking up 4 as One Hit Wanda knocked out and bridged back by number 11, Chef Boyardee. Wanda, once again, Chef Boyardee locking down those lines. And Star able to sneak through, but will be picking up a track cut. So this is a power jam for Kalamazoo. As One Hit Wanda sneaks up that inside line, picking up 4 points for Kalamazoo. Now matching the points earned by Star prior to the penalty. We have about 1 minute left in the jam. As One Hit Wanda coming into the pack, looking for some space on the outside line. Basher going to pick up a forearm penalty, sending them to the box. As One Hit Wanda still working against that wall. Great Lakes really locking it down as One Hit Wanda knocked to the outside and bridged back by Chef Boyardee. One Hit Wanda landing a nice hit on Star, who has now been released for the penalty box, but is able to stay in bounds. 4 points on the board for Star as One Hit Wanda still working on that second scoring pass. We got about 25 seconds left in this jam. Star sees an opening on the inside, flying through untouched. As One Hit Wanda still working to get through, complete the Star pass to number 410, Basher. But Star able to get through one more time. An additional 4 points as the jam comes to an end. A total of 16 points picked up by Star, matching our other highest scoring jam of the game, and a lead change, 75 Great Lakes to 64 Kalamazoo, an 11-point game. Going into this jam, we've got number 100, Rainstorm, against number 5, Pocket. Rainstorm going to that inside line, takes a hit from Basher there, forced to step into that inside and being bridged back by Bio. Pocket pushing against a very strong Great Lakes wall at the back of the pack. Pocket looking to that inside line, but unable to get through as Rainstorm takes a big hit from Bio, but is able to break through for that lead jammer status for Great Lakes. Pocket pushing against Savage Patch Kid, now completing the initial pass for Kalamazoo. Big hit to that outside line, forces Rainstorm to call off the jam. Looks like no points going to be awarded there for either team, as we're getting ready to go into jam 23 with about 45 seconds left in this first half. We're going to see the first matchup we saw of this game. Number 3, Twiggy Zigzag against number 11, Bobbles. Kalamazoo is starting with a slight disadvantage as they have one blocker in the box to start this jam. Twiggy Zigzag looking to that inside, but takes a big hit from Killabell Lecter there. As Bobbles able to pick up lead at jammer status for Kalamazoo. Twiggy Zigzag looking at that in, but Patty Wampus locking that inside line down. As Killabell Lecter and Patty Wampus recycling in front of Twiggy Zigzag. But there's just enough space for Twiggy to sneak through, completing that initial pass for Great Lakes. Bobbles still working on that scoring pass. Just has to get past number 151888, Jax the Ripper. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam. Looks like 4 points going to be put on the board for Kalamazoo. No points for Great Lakes, meaning our halftime score is 75-68. It is only a 7-point game going into halftime, so definitely keep your drinks nearby. Go get some more. The concession stand is open. Swing by the merch table. Great Lakes and Kalamazoo have merch tables set up. And then once again, don't forget to stop by Snacks' fundraising table to support her travel expenses for going to Austria this summer. And I will see you guys back here in about 14 minutes.
Have you ever done the feather bowl?
Yes.
Where it's like a half pipe?
That's how you make it invisible.
Like
Oh,
wooden
wait.
puck. Yeah, it's like a wooden puck.
I need to use that. Okay. Oh, what do you like?
Yeah, check that one
You
out.
see now?
What's it game night?
Yep.
You got the score on here.
I want to put like a status.
I could try to figure it out. Oh, dude. That's like a Thank you.
What happened? I'm not supposed to wear shoes on. Okay. I don't have more cash, so I'm just gonna have to move money out. There's plenty of cash. Yeah, so I don't know how happy it's gonna let me. No, what is it? It's my turn. That's terrible in here. They have Wi-Fi. They just don't have.
No, with this one. Go take a couple laps, get that sweat built up again, get moving, so that when you step out there, get out there, get moving, get the sweat going, push around.
Sorry, y'all, I was doing my due diligence and stopping by Smax's fundraising table and purchased myself a pair of earrings. So I was running a little bit late. But I'm here now. And jamming now, once I have my breath back, is Ziggy, Zigzag, and Puckett.
Do you need a shake?
Alrighty, and that is Puckett through one more time. That is the second scoring pass for Kalamazoo, closing in on that lead that Great Lakes left going into halftime. Puckett is coming in at the clearing on that inside line from Basher, picking up an additional 4 points for Puckett as Twiggy Zigzag looking for some space, looking to get through on that initial. Puckett reapproaching the pack, looking for some space, takes a nice nudge there from Savage Patch Kid. Passing it past Star, is able to do so, an additional 4 points. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam. That was a total of 16 points. That's her second 16-point jam this game, bringing Kalamazoo's score to 84-75. That's a lead change. Everyone take a drink as we go into Jam 2 with Bobbles and Puddin'. 5 seconds. Kalamazoo does currently have one blocker in the penalty box. Puddin' looking to the outside, able to stay in. Lead jammer status going to Puddin' of Great Lakes. Bobbles looking for some space, fighting against Rainstorm. Puddin' sees an opening on that inside line, goes through untouched. Beautiful work there. Puddin' through for 4 as Bobbles still fighting on that initial pass. Going to pick up a forearm penalty. This will be a power jam for Puddin', who already has 8 points on the board. It is a one-point game with a power jam for Great Lakes. Puddin' looks for that inside line, just has to get past Basher. Takes a big hit. Fighting against Basher and Killabell Lecter. Killabell walking down the front. But we'll be picking up a track cut call. Puddin' able to break through, picking up an additional 4. Officially changing the lead once more. Rainstorm going up to play some offense, opening up that outside line, Puddin' on those toe stops, able to get through for an additional 4 and calling off the jam. But at the end of that jam, Bobbles ended up getting called on a penalty. So a total of 16 points picked up by Puddin' there. Phenomenal work. And starting this power start is going to be 11-11 Star. And Star will have a full 30 seconds as Bobbles sat down between jam times. Star sees an opening on that inside line, just has to go past Bio and is able to do so. Lead jammer status got picked up in less than 10 seconds for Great Lakes. Star looking to that inside, a little apex jump. Did step out of bounds a little bit, so was forced to recycle back. Has to go behind Bio, all the way at the pivot line. Quick juke to the outside, able to stay in bounds. Star has to get past that last blocker. Killabell Lecter with a spin is able to stay in bounds. Another 4 points on the board for Great Lakes. As Bobbles looking to get through on that initial pass. Just has to get past Betty Rampage and Daisy Mayhem and is able to do so. But Star, in that same amount of time, is able to get through another 4 points on the board for Great Lakes. Bobbles picking up speed and approaching that pack. Speeds up that outside line. Star crashing through the hips and calling off the jam. Official 2 points put on there, bringing us over the century mark. 10 points on the board for Star, making our total 101 to 88. Kalamazoo with 4 points on the board for Bobbles.
We were betting on that one, trying to give our jam on points. We didn't hold. But we tried.
On the jam line now, we've got one hit Wanda and Puddin, our current tie for highest scoring jammer. Wanda tries to take that inside line, but Savage Patch Kid locking down the inside, bridging back behind the jam line as Puddin makes contact with Basher and Caddy Wampus. Wanda on toe stops on that outside line, has one to beat, gets through, lead jammer status for one hit Wanda for Kalamazoo. Caddy Wampus going to the penalty box as one hit Wanda knocked out of bounds, forced to recycle as Puddin back in play. Wanda picking up some speed, able to go up that outside line. 4 points on the board as we've got a star pass from Puddin to number 03, Flutterbat. One hit Wanda coming up to the pack. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam before Flutterbat can pick up any points. Looks like no points gonna be awarded to Kalamazoo. So a total of 4 on that jam, closing the gap. Score 101 to 92 in favor of in favor of Great Lakes, with just under 23 and a half minutes left. Looks like team timeout called by Great Lakes. So it looks like that was initially a team timeout called by Great Lakes, but it ended up turning into an official timeout as one of the rules is the only people who can call timeouts from the bench are the captain and the coach that's wearing the A. So the assistant captain or co-captain, whatever you would refer to call them as. And at that time, life coach Dan had called a timeout without wearing the A. So therefore, a penalty was assessed to the captain of the B team. So Flutterbat will be sitting in the penalty box starting this jam. Since the coach can't sit in the box since they're not skating, it just gets assessed to the skating captain. So therefore, this is a 3-3 pack starting this jam for Pockets and Rainstorm, our jammers for their respective teams. Looks like Rainstorm charging right up that central seam. Pocket really trying to juke back and forth, trying to cut through those links. Wants to get past Savage Patch Kid at the front of the pack. It's Rainstorm who picks up lead jammer status for Great Lakes. But Pocket now also through. Only about a quarter of a track behind Rainstorm. Rainstorm looking right to that inside. Beautiful work with a little mini apex jump as Savage Patch Kid knocks Pocket to the outside. Rainstorm looking to that outside line. Takes a bit of a hit from Cattywampus, but able to use that core and stay in bounds as Pocket does a side surf. Looking for the same thing, gets squished between Savage Patch Kid and Flutterbat there. Really slowing that momentum. Pocket attempts to call off the jam, but is not the lead jammer. As Rainstorm looking to get up and through on that inside line. Casually skating through for another 4 points. As Pocket has to pass Savage Patch Kid. Some good offense allows Pocket to finally get through after picking up 4 points for Kalamazoo. Rainstorm back in the pack, looking for that inside. Gets nudged to the end by Basher. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam. Looks like no points gonna be awarded on that last lap there. So a total of 12 gonna be given to Rainstorm, bringing their total to 113, and 4 points gonna be awarded to Pocket, bringing their score to 96. And on the jam line now, we've got Bobbles and Twiggy Zigzag, both of which are no strangers to the jam line this game. Bobbles sees the space in lane 3. Shoots right up that line, picking up lead jammer status in less than 5 seconds for Kalamazoo. Twiggy Zigzag fighting against the 3-wall at the back of the pack of Semper Temper, Lamb Chop, and Weird Gal Skater Chick. Lastly, it has to get past Basher, but Basher locking it down as Bobbles looking to get through. A strong tripod at the front of the pack of Crybaby, Puddin, and I believe that's Runner down. But Twiggy Zigzag able to find space now through on the initial pass as Bobbles still looking to get some points on that first scoring pass. Has to get past Crybaby. He's moving on the inside, getting told to call off the jam. And does so. No points. Gonna go to Twiggy Zigzag. And a total of 4 gonna be given to Bobbles. Bringing Kalamazoo over the century mark. Score is now 113 to 100. We've had numerous 16-point jams this game, so I still wouldn't, this is nothing to turn your nose up at, that's for sure. On the jam line now is number 16, Savage Patch Kid, jamming for the first time this game. And then number 2, One Hit Wanda. One Hit Wanda, she's opening on that inside line, able to pick up lead jammer status for Kalamazoo as Savage Patch Kid looks for that outside line, sees some space, and books it. One Hit Wanda looking at that inside line, has to get past Star, and I believe that is number 369, Irish. Got some space on that outside line, but it is a track cut, so this will be a power jam for Savage Patch Kid, who then also picks up a penalty for a forearm. So this will be a full 2-minute jam with about 1 minute and 15 left in it. But the jam is going to be called off due to concerns of injury. This is why we have our medics here.
watching, but delayed.
If we were really
We were really close.
Alright, and we're getting back to the derby action. Now, starting off this power start, looks like Wanda got released right at the end of the jam there. So it looks like it's going to be Hot Pocket jamming. Against Star, who has been released from the penalty box after serving a penalty for Savage Patch Kid. Hot Pocket is your lead jammer as Star is looking for some space, sees some space on the inside line, completing that initial pass as Pocket has 4 points. He's going to go ahead and call off the jam with 4 points on the board, which brings the score to 107 for Kalamazoo to 113 Great Lakes. This is only a 6-point game with about 18 and a half minutes left to go. And we got Bobbles and Pudding jamming for their respective teams. Both jammers looking for space. Bobbles looking for that inside line. Is able to stay in. Picking up lead at jammer status for Kalamazoo. As Puddin looking for some space. Sees the space on the inside line, but takes a bit of a spill. Has to get past Basher at the front of the pack. Keeping things slow and contained at the front as Kalamazoo recycles, but space is left on the outside for Puddin to break through on that initial pass. As Puddin charges up that inside line, able to stay in bounds. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam with 4 points on the board. Bringing our score to 111 to 113. It is a 2-point game right now, with about 17 minutes left in the game. And we've got Star and One Hit Wanda jamming for their respective teams. And Great Lakes is going to start with a pack disadvantage as they have one blocker sitting in the box currently. One Hit Wanda looking for that outside line, getting nudged out by Star. Star getting that last second hit by Bio. Wanted to be cautious a bit there and recycle just for the safety of it all. And One Hit Wanda going to be picking up a track cut penalty. So this is Star with lead jammer status and a power jam. Wants to extend their lead as much as possible in this short time frame. Looking at that inside line, getting nudged out by Princess Harming, but able to pop back in and quickly run away, picking up 4 points for Great Lakes. Star back in the pack, taking a hit from Killabell Lecter, but able to stay in bounds, picking up an additional 4 points for Great Lakes. 8 points so far on the board for Star. Star looking to that outside, gonna go ahead and call off the jam. No points earned by One Hit Wanda, a total of 11 on the board for Star. We got to carry out the ones trend. We already have 2 11s on her back, and now there's a third 11 on the scoreboard. So the score is now 124 Great Lakes to 111 Kalamazoo. With about 15 and some change left on the clock. And jamming now, we've got Hot Pocket and City Zigzag. But it is Pocket who picks up lead at jammer status. As Twiggy Zigzag knocks to that infield by Cattywampus. See some space on that outside line, but Cattywampus and Basher keeping her contained. As Pocket shoots up that outside. Fantastic work by Pocket there. Using her size to her advantage and just sneaking through. As Twiggy Zigzag just has to get past Cattywampus and is able to do so. Pocket able to take charge of that chaos. Breaking through for additional 4. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam with a total of 8 in that jam. So the score is 124 to 119. It's a 5-point game. And on the jam line now, we've got Rainstorm alongside Bobbles. Rainstorm looking to that inside line. Does a nice side surf around Bio there. Philabelle Lecter trying to catch her at the front, but is unable to do so. Bobbles able to get through now, completing the initial pass. Rainstorm attempting to do a little apex jump there, but does go out of bounds. He's going to go ahead and call off the jam before any points be scored by Bobbles. Looks like there's some discussion to see if maybe any points are going to be scored by Rainstorm here. Looks like no points are going to be given to Rainstorm there. And as we're going in, we're doing one-hit Wanda, who has immediately passed the star to Basher, who cannot be lead jammer as there was a star pass. So lead jammer status is actually going to go to Star of Great Lakes. Basher going for that outside line, has one to beat. Quick momentum change there, has to get past Crybaby and Dex the Ripper, and is able to do so. 4 points on the board for Kalamazoo, as Star with a great shift backwards picks up 4 and is also going to call off the jam. So that jam breaks even. Still 5 points between these teams. 128 to 123. On the jam line now, we've got Pocket and Rainstorm. Rainstorm goes right up the center. Bio tried to keep things slow and contained. And Rainstorm going to pick up a track cut penalty. So this will be a power jam for Kalamazoo, which is going to be ideal. And Pocket is through. But since the star was taken off their helmet, there will be no lead jammer. So this will be a full 2-minute jam with about a minute and a half left. But we're still on a power jam. Pocket wanting to score as many points. Gonna go ahead and pick up 4, making this a 1-point game. Pocket charging up, dicing right between the two blockers, able to pick up an additional 4 points as Rainstorm has come out of the penalty box, avoids a hit there from Bio, and gets through, completing the initial pass as Pocket's coming in ready to score some points. Beautiful work with a juke to that inside. Another 4 points on the board as Bio narrowly misses Rainstorm there. An additional 4 put on the board by Great Lakes, matching that of Kalamazoo. A nice dunk under by Pocket gets them through for 4, and Rainstorm also absorbing some contact from Kalamazoo, also picking up an additional 4 points. Rainstorm following Pocket right through. But Pocket getting a bit hung up there at the back of the pack. We've got about 9 seconds left in this jam. Pocket taking a hit from Twiggy Zigzag. Rainstorm taking a hit last second there. 4 points going to be awarded to Pocket. An additional 1 point going to Rainstorm. 20 points for Pocket in that jam. The largest jam of the game. And 13 points for Rainstorm. And also one of the highest scoring jams this game. Score is now 141 Great Lakes to 143 Kalamazoo. It is a lead change. Only 2 points separating these two teams. And it's the battle of the 11s here. We've got 11-11 for Star and 11 for Bobbles. But it is the double 11 with lead jammer. But Bobbles not far behind. The pack moving very quickly, but slowing it down as they get into turn 3. As Star goes right up the center, tries to take that inside line, but takes a bit of a spill. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam. Looks like 1 point gonna go to Bobbles. And we'll see how many we get to Star. No points going to be awarded to Star on that time. So Kalamazoo, despite not having lead, was able to pick up an extra point, making the game now 3 points. What a wide margin there. 141 to 144 in favor of Kalamazoo with just over 8 minutes left. And it's going to be an official timeout call.
Oh, we're reeling a big section. We're going for like a 3 to 4 section.
Middleweight.
Yeah, the middleweight.
Directly that is by
expert people.
with tape.
All right, official timeout is completed. On the jam line now, we've got One Hit Wanda and Puddin'. One Hit Wanda picking up a track cut penalty. So this is a power jam for Puddin', who's still working on that initial pass. Kalamazoo picking up speed to try and stay in front of Puddin'. Chef Boyardum trying to play some offense on Bio. But it is Puddin' able to break through for lead jammer for Great Lakes. Puddin' in the pass, has to get past Basher, Bio, and Philabel Lecter. Rainstorm trying to open up that outside line there. Looks like Basher will be going to the box for a forearm, but Bio bridging Puddin' back to the beginning of turn 3. Slowing their momentum down as One Hit Wanda out of the pack. Puddin' did take the start off, which does mean there is no longer a lead jammer. This will be a full 2-minute jam as One Hit Wanda completes the initial pass. Star has been passed to Flutterbat, who has been knocked out of bounds by Bio. One Hit Wanda completing a scoring pass. The quarterback in, takes a hit from Philabel Lecter. There's lots of discussion out on the track. It's like a penalty. One Hit Wanda picking up a track cut penalty. The KZoo bench is, the KZoo box is pretty loaded at this point in time. Oh, just a 4 points put on the board by Flutterbat there. Looks like Kalamazoo is going to be calling an official review on that jam. A total of 6 points was picked up by Wanda prior to that jam ending. So it is a 1-point game. Just kidding. They took away points as I said something, and then they added them back. Give me just 1 second. I think it's a 1-point game right now. 150 Kalamazoo, 149 Great Lakes.
They're going in the they just said,
No, because everybody's just like, probably the chat.
like some of the yeah, that one. No, that's no, but this orange on the back.
It's fine. Put it. Get in there. Go. If you rely
Alright, and starting this jam off, we've got Twiggy Zigzag, the sole jammer on the track for Great Lakes, against Bio, who does make contact, sending Twiggy to the outside. Pack is moving very quickly as Twiggy looking to get past Pocket and Bio, and now Killabell Lecter rejoining the pack. Subway Doom trying to play some offense on Killabell Lecter, but Killabell able to recycle, and Twiggy still contained as One Hit Wanda being released from the box. Heating up, lead jammer going to Kalamazoo. One Hit Wanda out of the penalty box. Big hit there from One Hit Wanda, but it was clean and legal according to the outside pack rack. 4 points put on the board by One Hit Wanda as Twiggy still fighting to get through that pack, looking for some help from their defense. Has to get past Basher, but steps out of bounds, being forced to recycle. One Hit Wanda moving laterally, trying to fight past that Great Lakes wall. As Basher coming up to play some offense, only has one left to beat, is able to break through the center of that pack. An additional 4 points put on the board for One Hit Wanda. As Twiggy Zigzag looking for some help there, looking to pass the star to the pivot there. One Hit Wanda knocked out by Chef Boyardee, and Wanda's going to go ahead and call off the jam. Waiting on the final call from the jam ref. Looks like one additional point for a total of 9 on the board for Kalamazoo. Score will be 159 to 149, a 10-point game. And Jimmy, now we've got Puddin and Bobbles. Rainstorm opening up that outside line, but Basher able to knock Puddin out, keeping control of Puddin, allowing Lamtop to come up and recycle. But Puddin going to pick up a high block. This will be a power jam for Bobbles, who spins around and picks up lead jammer status for Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo's got some momentum right now and is looking to really channel it on this power jam. Bobbles takes a bit of a spill coming into the pack, looking to get past Flutterbat and Crybaby. And there's a big opening on that inside line, just looking to get past Flutterbat, who's really locking it down. Now has to get past Crybaby and Daisy Mayhem. Doing a great job recycling. Bobbles takes a big hit from Flutterbat there, knocked out of bounds. Having to reset the progress they've made thus far. Gonna go ahead and call off the jam. All 4 points going to be awarded to Bobbles. No points going to go to put in that jam. Extending the lead now, 163 Kalamazoo to 149 Great Lakes, with just over 2.5 minutes left to go in this game. And we've got Pocket and Star out there for their respective teams. Two of the highest scoring jammers of this game, might I add. Bio looking to open up that outside line for Pocket, and it works out perfectly. Lead jammer status going to Pocket. As Star going to pick up a forearm penalty, another power jam for Pocket. Wanting to extend this lead for Kalamazoo as much as possible. 4 points on the board for Kalamazoo. Pocket crashing into that 3 wall of blockers at the front of the pack. Has to get past Jax the Ripper and Crybaby. Uses those toe stops, able to sneak by. Another 4 points on the board for Kalamazoo. As Twiggy Zigzag trying to catch Pocket at the back of the pack. Pocket gets nudged out of bounds by Jax the Ripper, forced to recycle. As Star coming out of the penalty box, sneaking through. As Pocket still working through, getting hung up just a little bit on Iris. Pocket speeds up that inside line. Going to be told to call off the jam after putting an additional 4 on. 12 points total picked up by Pocket, and 1 point going to be awarded to Star, making our score now 175 to 150 with just under a minute left in the game. And our final, well, maybe not final, we'll see, but one of our last jammers will be Rainstorm and Basher. Both jammers charging right up that central line. Basher looking to get through, following behind Rainstorm. There's a bit of chaos out, but it is Basher with lead jammer for Kalamazoo. Rainstorm trying to do a little bit of defensive jamming as well. Basher just casually skating around as Rainstorm, coming in with speed to the pad, looking for that inside line, but does successfully land an apex jump for 4 more for Great Lakes. Only 5 seconds left on the game clock. And no timeout is called. This is the unofficial final score. We're going to wait for that final rolling whistle. But as of right now, it's looking like 175 to 154 in favor of Kalamazoo.
Thank you. It's like slowing down with the wind. Up and down, I get it. I've never had something like that.
All right, that rolling whistle signals the end of the game. It is currently 175, 154. All right, everybody surround the track and get ready for high fives and good vibes as our skaters go around the track saying good game. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this derby with us today and for putting up with my voice this entire time. I greatly appreciate it, and I will be down to get MVPs in just a moment.